All right, today I am talking about adding value at any role. And really, this is a way for you and for the people that you're developing to look at the contributions you make to your company in a new way. There's a lot of talk out there about adding value wherever you can and how that helps to increase a company's profit and what they are able to accomplish. So that leads us very naturally into the first thing that you can do to add value within your role. You should understand, and if you don't understand, dig into and begin to explore what value your job brings to the company's bottom line. Now, that's a really easy thing for people in sales to do and for people in marketing to do. They have the analytics at their fingertips. They can probably recite just off the top of their head what benefit they bring to the company economically. For those of us, and I do not come from a sales background, but for those of us in other areas, it's a lot harder to put our finger on. For those of us that run organizations or groups within companies that are all R&D, at that point, you're just spending money. So how do you actually contribute to the bottom line? Doing this exercise forces you to look at what you do differently, and it helps you to understand and to quantify that. And that is an invaluable number to have, both to understand and to put forward when you are up for a promotion or up looking to move into another role, as well to add to your CV if you are looking to position yourself to move into another organization. It is the type of thing that, if you are not in sales, will stop a recruiter in their tracks. If they see that you know that you've added X dollars of value to your current organization, or that you saved the organization X dollars in fiscal year 2021, that will stop recruiters that are not used to seeing that in someone's CV in their tracks. So the very first way that you can increase the value that you add to your company, regardless of what role you are in at your organization, is to understand how you contribute to the bottom line and start to tweak that, right? So if it's a very small amount, how can you increase it? Can you work more efficiently with vendors? Can you streamline certain processes? Knowing that number and working to improve it just for your own knowledge can help make you better at whatever you are delivering. So that is one of the first ways in which you can add value at any role. Another thing that you can do is constantly be recruiting and looking for other talent that you can bring to the organization, talent that you would want to collaborate with, talent that is different from what the standard talent is that an organization is bringing in. If you are actively recruiting for your company at all times, even when there aren't job openings, then when there are job openings, because you've been connecting, because you have been networking and thinking about this routinely, whether it's when you're going to conferences or whether you're just on LinkedIn, or if you're in some types of groups of like-minded individuals in the industry, these are all ways that you can always be thinking about and identifying people that you may want to work with in the future. And that's advantageous because then when that role does open up, you have an opportunity to bring in some key talent that will not only add to the collaboration within your organization, but there may also even be referral bonuses for doing so. So that can add to your bottom line as well. So that's another way that you bring value to your organization. And a third thing that you can do to bring value to your organization, regardless of what role you are in, is to grow the talent around you. That's true whether you are directly managing someone or whether you want to just help out so-and-so who's working on XYZ project. Maybe you are supporting them, and as a result, you also have an opportunity to give them some feedback that helps grow them, right? That is another way that you add value within your organization. All of these three ways are things that you can easily be implementing in your day-to-day activities or in your networking when you go to conferences. You can be thinking about it. They embody the power with mentality, right? If you think about it, and if we recap, understanding how you contribute to the bottom line, that's power with activity. That is power with mentality when it comes to understanding the fiscal needs of a company. If you think about attracting and collaborating with talent that you want to bring in, that is also very much the power with mentality. That's knowing that there's going to be job openings in certain areas that you may or may not know people for, but the more that you network thinking about who you would want to work with and why, the more chance you have that you're going to bring in people from your network, and that then you build that collaboration. And the third way that you can add value, of course, we talked about, is growing and developing talent around you. That can be people that are directly reporting into you, people that are indirectly reporting into you, and those that you just get to work with. How can you help them to understand more their amazing skills? How can you not only work with their amazing skills, but also advocate for their amazing skills? Where can you put them forward for things that they would be terrific at? Where can you speak up to talk about their skill set and the contributions that they make? How can you give collaborative feedback so that they themselves continue to grow? And then look for that in return. When you're working with groups of people that not only want to grow themselves, but want to grow those around them, then you are working in such a collaborative environment that you will see nothing but good things come from that. You will continue to help one another forward, and you will continue to build out your network of trusted individuals. And so I'm just going to take a deep breath, see if there are any questions coming in over the chat. Janessa, I don't know if there's anything at this point.
No, there is not.
Nothing coming in. Okay, that's fine. If there's anything later, let us know. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can always shoot us an email. And now I'd like to open it up and just see if there's anyone that wants to, not necessarily on this topic, but if there's any, Stacy, if you want to have any specific laser coaching right now.
Thanks, Tara. That's a nice offer. I was just thinking about in some of the things that you talked about. When you want to, say, streamline process, and there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen,
Yeah,
with opinions. What's your advice in that type of situation?
that's a wonderful question. Thank you for that. So it really depends on where the kitchen is, right? And there's a lot of cooks in it, and what the situation is. If you, for instance, see something that's being done inefficiently, it might be worth bringing together the people that are doing this and asking them how they feel about the process, right? Understanding what they think about what the standard process is. And then understanding from there, is there appetite for change? And is there the possibility, or do you and that group have the authority to either change or pilot a change, or at least put forward a sketch of what the pilot would look like to those that are in authority to change it? So there's often a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and that just getting to that stage of knowing what might be the best next thing to try can be challenging. It may be a matter of writing out various different ways of doing things and then ranking them as a group, so that if you had to only choose one, which would it be? Or if you had to put them in order of priorities, 1, 2, and 3, and maybe then you don't immediately change things, but you pilot number 1, and then maybe you pilot number 2, and then you decide which process works better. It's a matter of being as collaborative as you can, and yet not allowing that collaboration to just result in everybody kvetching and just giving their own opinion, but never making a decision and moving forward. That was a great question.
Thanks, Tara. That's helpful.
Thank you. All right. Anything else you want to talk about today, Stacy? It's a small group, so.
Yeah, it's very small. but it's also live on Facebook. So I guess maybe you could, give some advice to me and everyone listening when you see something that you say, for example, in a situation where the business and your management don't agree on priorities, and you feel like that there's conflict there.
Yeah.
How do you coach someone in that situation?
That's a great question. So you're saying that the business proclaimed priorities,
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, maybe not spoken by anyone specifically to you, but put out there as the priorities, and your direct manager's priorities seem to be in conflict.
Yes, yes. Say the
Yeah.
priorities are in an email from business heads, and the your manager is saying, well, we're going to figure out the priorities based upon the information that we have, and ignoring the most recent priority list.
Interesting. I think at that point, I would suggest going to your manager and saying, but these are in conflict. I don't understand. Help me understand.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And has that, if that's already been done and the manager is resistant to that, I would have issues with understanding where that manager is coming from if they haven't explained themselves. Because, and I want to be clear here, I have definitely been in organizations and been working with people where the organizational priorities actually didn't make sense because the organization had not conferred with the middle level management, which often happens. And so to operationalize it, it actually made sense to prioritize it differently. Now, in those cases, though, the management that is operationalizing it and has different priorities can very clearly explain why.
Right, right. It's a complicated situation to try to talk generally about. So
Of
yeah,
course, of course.
yeah.
And truthfully, we're humans. We complicate everything, right? there are no really simple situations. But I would encourage trying to have that open line of communication of not understanding and wanting to understand. This goes to a lot of what Brene Brown talks about being not being a knower, but being a learner. Really wanting to get to the heart of understanding why there's a difference.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.